So one thing we went over today was putting the strap in your lower back, working on the connection between your rib cage, your pelvis, and this inner tube area that helps to stabilize things, but we also need to allow them to let go. So when we work on laying down, moving our arms, the black strap supporting our spine, we can work on that exhale, that feeling heavy, that idea of grounding, relaxation. This relaxes. We do need it to work because we are upright human beings. We do stand, we do walk. We need this to function so that we've got that. With that lumbar spine needs to be able to move. As we walk, I showed that when we walk, our leg has to travel behind us when we walk. That, through the skeletal system, moves into your lower back for that lumbar curve, okay? When we have back pain and that lumbar curve disappears and we're round and it flattens, our walking turns into these tiny little steps where instead of that full gait, and when you're told that your glutes aren't firing, it's not that your glute decided to stop working and that's why it happened. It's because your lumbar spine gets into this position, we take tiny little steps, and our glute maximus just kind of sits there and goes, you don't need me anymore. I'm gonna go take off and take a vacation. So it's a vicious circle, but it's not that your glute's not firing that's causing one thing. It's that the back pain caused you to change your biomechanics, which isn't firing your glute because it's not needed. It's not that your glute doesn't want to fire, okay? Whole story on that one. We could do a lecture on that. What we're gonna do, this goes into your lower back, and you lay down, and because there is that skeletal connection of your leg extension and your lumbar spine with that little arch, when you stretch both legs out, you should be able to feel there's a little tiny lumbar arch. Let me move this out of the way. And that's where this strap goes. It doesn't go up here at your rib cage where you're arching up here. It goes down here in your lumbar spine. It's not really there as support like the props we use along our spine. It's there as feedback, because when we bend our knees, I want that positioning to still be there. We're so used to hearing that cue, push your lower back into the floor, okay? This isn't a great position, all right? I'm holding too much tension in my body. This is relaxation. This is a nice lumbar extension. Your pelvis is dropped down. Things are connected. There's no tension being held anywhere or gripping. Even the hips, this heaviness into your hip sockets. Remember, your hip sockets are here. These are your pelvic bones where we measure our pants. These are not our hips when I talk about hips. These are our hips right in here, this hip socket. And I can show you on my skeleton too. But remembering we're here. Two compensations that tend to happen. One, we push down, we grip, then we try and move from there. Don't let that happen. The second compensation that happens, we arch. We move this way because this could be a habit that we have, and then we try and move. I want you to stay neutral. If you start to move out of neutral to go into a compensation, that's as far as you move for that moment. That moment, okay? We're not thinking that that's our limit. We're just paying attention to that present moment. So from here, we're in this neutral position. We lift our right leg. This doesn't move. If you lift your right leg and all of a sudden this happens, this is where you work. This stays here, this moves, okay? If you've got this going, then this side goes, okay? Then lift your right leg. Extend your right leg. This is still all neutral. This leg can lower. Doesn't touch the ground, because if it touched the ground, everything relaxes. We want it to just hover. That hover gets this working, okay? And you can tell in my voice is the same. I'm not gripping really hard to make this work. It just is what it is. And the more you get used to this movement, the stronger, the better your nervous system reacts, and this is what happens. And you can tell that I'm still belly breathing. So if I take a deep breath, you can still see my belly move. My dog's about to walk into the video. Go over there, Oscar. Okay, we've got this. This is still, like, it's working. It's not clenching and gripping. Okay, so we do the right side, we do the left side. Now, we want to kind of hang out here until we feel that we're really working at this. Maybe there's some shaking. Maybe your mind's going, oh, I can't keep doing this. Focus on your breath. Your exhale can help ground you. Your inhale can give you space and lightness. One breath will help you more than the other. Use that. Be conscious about creating this pattern. Then, if it starts getting a little easier, the right leg goes down. This left hip gets heavy. Imagine there's that helium balloon on your left knee, and your left knee floats up. Notice how this isn't moving. That left knee floats up. The body will try and compensate with this one because your foot will feel like it's magnetized to the floor. It takes practice. Might take a week, might take a month, doesn't matter. We think about this hip being nice and heavy. This is still stable, not gripping. And this foot just lifts, okay? Not, okay? Not that, just that lift. So this is what we're working on. Getting these both legs, okay? Because one side's probably going to be different than the other. Both legs. Now this right hip is really heavy. This right foot floats. That helium balloon is attached to that knee. Okay? If it's magnetized, it's magnetized. Stay there. Just keep thinking about that hip being heavy, that knee being light. Okay? It's not about your foot. If your knee lifts, your foot will lift because they're nicely attached. Okay? And we get to here. That's that inner tube space. Okay? Roll over. Don't sit up.